This Business Newsmakers is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Banking your way every day.
Hey everyone, Frank Durafoli here. Welcome to this week's Business Newsmakers. We're here today with Jackie Muller, who is the founder of Dynamic Interventions. She is a licensed clinical social worker, and she's here in the Hudson Valley helping people feel better about their life and getting happy. And Jackie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for inviting me, Frank.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. So let's kind of start with, I know you're originally from the Bronx, the Bronx, and now you ended up here in Dutchess County. So tell us a little about how that transition happened and what you like about being up here.
Well, from the time I was little, I always loved coming on vacation up into the mountains, and I would come up here on vacation with my family, and I felt like one day I would end up here, and here I am. So it was a transition from the Bronx to Yonkers, and then when I had my own children, I moved up here.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit. You're a clinical social worker. That means obviously you're working with people, helping them through their problems, their issues, whatever's going on. But I'm most interested in how people found that path, because some people, there's different ways to do that. So how did you know that that's what you want to do, or discovered, like, that's what I want to do, is I want to sit with people all day and discuss their problems? How did that come about?
Well, I think I didn't quite know that I wanted to be a social worker. I just knew I wanted to talk to people and help them. So in high school, I sat down with the guidance counselor and my mother, and we had a discussion, and my mother was told I wasn't really college material to send me to secretarial school. I'd find a husband and they wouldn't need to worry about me. That was what they did back in the 80s, but that plan was part of my journey to social work. So once I had my daughter, I looked down at this new baby and I felt I need to be a role model for her. So I got back into college at the encouragement of my younger sister, and the two of us helped each other get our education, and she's a nurse and I'm a social worker. So.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's really exciting. So when you first started, tell us kind of, how did you get to your own private practice? How did that come about?
Somewhere in my college career, I heard that I could do a private practice, so it became the goal for me.
Okay.
It didn't just come out of college and start my private practice. I had to work in the trenches, so to speak, in different capacities in the hospital, in home care, housing, private practice as a consultant to different companies, and then eventually, once I got enough experience, I was able to put that into use and start my own practice off slowly. First it was part-time, and then it became more full-time gig, and I had to give up the day job. Okay. And here I am.
And I know there's a lot of, in this type of work, in like a counseling type of work, there's all different kind of specialties you can have, different types of issues or concerns you work with people on. Tell us a little about, do you have a specialty, do you have a certain audience that you work with in terms of your practice?
Well, being clinically trained, I like to work with people to overcome the traumas and the struggles that they have as a result of new diagnosis, traumas from crime or childhood traumas, different things like that. That would be more of the clinical perspective. But I also found that once people can overcome those blocks, then it becomes a coaching relationship. So there's a transition for some people. They may start off clinical and then move to coaching, or some people don't really have a lot of stuff holding them back, and they're just looking for someone to help them create a roadmap, so to speak, to be able to reach their goals.
So I heard what you're saying. I think there's a lot of people who feel stuck, who feel afraid, who feel sad or withdrawn, but don't know that's kind of where they're just feeling whatever they're feeling in life. So how are ways that people can identify that maybe they're in one of those spots, they need someone like you to help them? How do I know that I'm there or I'm ready for that?
Well, for the people that find me, if they come to my website, they can fill out the questionnaire, and that will get submitted to me, and I'll review it, call them back, and set up a discovery session to see if we're a good match to working together. Or I can refer them to someone who may be more ideal for them, or figure out what it is that they're needing to help them in their journey towards wellness. Okay, so what are the signs though? Somebody's sitting at home right now watching this. What's a sign that they might have, they can identify in their life saying, okay, I need to go to her website? Like, what's that thing that makes them click that would say, okay, if you're having these things happen, you may need to talk to someone like myself? Well, if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling that you can't overcome different memories or different obstacles in your life, it's a good time to speak to someone who's in a profession such as mine who can help you navigate those waters or overcome the obstacles so that you don't have to be lonely and anxious, because anxiety and stress untended to can lead to depression, and then that becomes a bigger problem for people to overcome.
So for you in your practice, do you work with a particular audience? Do you work with younger people, older people, men, women? I mean, what's the audience that you work with?
Well, I never close the door to talking to anybody,
Right.
but I do find that most of the time the population that finds me is women between the ages of 18 as old as 80, you know.
Right.
But I think my niche market that I tend to enjoy working with would be the 18 to 35-year-olds or the millennials.
Mm-hmm.
So I've created a signature program to help them at the different stages that they may be in their life, and I've broken up that population group into 3 categories. You have the 18 to 25-year-olds who are just jumping out of college,
Yeah.
jumping into college,
Sure.
and then you have the ones who are graduating from college and starting a career. So that's from 25 to 30 years old, and from 30 to 35, they're probably starting a family and trying to settle down or create something for themselves and their family.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's totally different transitions in life going on there. Everybody gets confused about, a little hesitant, a little scared, so I can see that definitely being useful to anybody doing that. Somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that? Is there a phone number, a web address? Where would they go?
They can go to www.dynamicinterventionllc.com, and there's a free discovery session form that they can fill out, and I will call them back. They can also find me on Facebook, social media platforms, I'm on there. Or my phone number is 845-702-1042.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. First, I appreciate what you do because I think it really helps. I think mental health has become a lot more what I would call popular and mainstream in the last 20 or so years. Before that, it was kind of things you hid to the side. But now I think people understand mental health is as important as physical health, and I think what you do makes a big difference with people. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
My pleasure. Hey everybody, Frank D'Rafoli here, this week's Business Newsmakers. Tune in next week, and if you need to go see Jackie, go to her website, check her out. I think it's going to be really good help for you or anybody in your family. See you next week.